What's good, YouTube? It's your girl Remy Doll here, and if you don't know, now you know. Saying hi to my returning subscribers, and if you're new, baby, come be a lovely. Period. I think I might change y'all names though. I don't know if I'm feeling lovely anymore because it don't go with my name. It's like y'all are like I'm brown baby doll, so why would y'all be lovelies? I might change y'all to baby dolls. Come be a baby doll. Period. I like baby dolls. I don't know. Y'all tell me in the comments what y'all want to be called. So basically, I put a poll on my social media, basically giving if what story time should I do? A story time of my toxic ex-best friend or the worst ex I've had. And the winner was toxic ex-best friend. But before we get into this video, don't forget to give this video a like, comment, share. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that bell to be notified every time that I post. And let's get into the video. Before we start, do you guys see my nails? Do you see them? Your girl does her own nails. She did her own nails, okay? Where do I begin? I've had like 3 best friends in my life. And the one I have now, you guys have met her, remember Tiana? The one I have now, I love her to death. Like that seems like that's just going to be my forever best friend. And I love her. If we were ever to stop being best friends, I'd probably kill her. This isn't about her, for any of y'all that might think so. So basically, she was my best friend from starting from like 8 years old to like 12, 13. And y'all might be looking at me like, oh, how is this toxic because you guys were young? Trust me, she was a toxic best friend. Now that I think about it, now that I'm older, she was a very toxic best friend. She moved in across the street from me. And like it was cool because like I was always outside with my cousins, but I never really had like a best friend or another female friend to be outside with when I go outside and play in the summertime, because my mom didn't really like me in the house as much, sitting down watching TV. So I would go outside or whatever, and basically once we noticed that there was a female that moved in across the street, and she had a little sister too, and I have my little sister that you guys met. They were around the same age, and me and her were around the same age. We're only like a year apart. And it was like, oh, okay, fine, that's cool, but we were still in the same grade or whatever. So I was like, yeah, that's cool. So we met her or whatever. Keep in mind, this is a crucial part, but I'm not calling anybody out. I'm not labeling anybody, but keep in mind, she was Hispanic. That's a crucial part of it. She was Hispanic. We meet each other, and then it was like, from there, it was just like a click. Like, it was like a boom. We were sitting there talking with each other, hanging out with each other every single day, especially during summertime. Even like when we had school, after school, I would go take a shower from from school. Then I would go and hang out with her and stuff like that. And we'd probably do homework together and stuff. She used to come and sleep over. I have like old pictures that I'll insert right here of like us two together when we were like young. But I don't know, like, she might not want her face in. I don't know. I don't talk to her. I don't care. Like, little stuff that made her toxic. It was like little red flags that made her toxic. Like, she was one of those, like, y'all know how it is here, where like there's colorism and everything else like that. And I was one of those little dark-skinned girls that was running around and stuff like that, that always heard every 5 minutes, oh, if your skin was lighter, you're cuter. If you had loose wave curly hair, you were cuter and stuff like that. Because this was around the time where natural hair was starting to become a trend or whatever. But I never permed my hair, so my hair was always natural. So it was around the time where like all of that was happening. I mean, it still happens now, but it was more prevalent, and I was young and I didn't really know what it was, and I was just, going with the flow. So basically, she was one of those Hispanics that like me and her called each other best friends, but she would say little stuff that like she tried to play it off as a joke, but I never really noticed until now that I'm older that it's like, you were just being beep. But anyways, so, like, she would say, like, me and her would have talks and stuff like that. And our talks would be about, like, how we were going to be when we get older and stuff like that. And she would say little stuff like, oh, but, like, you're too dark for this or you're too dark for that. Or, like, she would be like, oh, I want to be a model or stuff like that. And, you know, because I'm lighter and I have my curly long hair and stuff like that. And then when she used to straighten it, oh boy, it used to get worse. So like, it used to be to the point where I used to look at my mom and tell my mom stuff like, oh, I wish my skin was lighter. Oh, I wish my hair was longer. Oh, mind you, right, when I was 8, 9 years old, I had some nice long natural hair. Like, my hair was like down here when I was 8 or 9 years old, but her hair was like down her back, and like I really thought like my hair was short and that was not it, and all this, like, it was stuff like that. So like, basically, like, she would, you know, make little jokes like that, like, oh, if it's late at night, if we play tag, we won't be able to see me because I'm dark skinned, and like little jokes like that, and it was like, that was already toxic. But like, I used to just laugh it off, and I used to agree with her, like, yeah, I get it, not knowing how bad it was that she was saying some of those stuff, like, not knowing that. So then this was the first incident that I realized she was toxic. The first incident was basically, there was this other boy that lived down the block from us, and he was 2 years older than us. So basically, when we're all hanging out and stuff like that, he did a lot of stuff that he wasn't supposed to. Like, at one moment, we all used to come in my house and like hang out and talk with each other, and like, he started dry humping me and her. And he was a whole 2 years older than us, right? So we're like, this is around like, we're like 9 and 10, and he's like 12, 13. So he started dry humping us and everything else like that. I know that was kind of like out there, but that's basically what he did. Like, I just want to cut to the point. And like, it really, like, it made me uncomfortable. She was laughing about it because she thought he was cute and she wanted to be with him. But with me, it made me uncomfortable. I didn't like it. I told my mother and my father, and my mother and my father had to talk with him. And like, she told her mother and father, and like, it turned into a big thing, right? Because she was like, oh, I had to tell my mother and my father because you told them. And like, it wasn't that big of a deal. He was cute. Because basically, it was like, after that whole situation, he was not allowed to come around us anymore. Like, they were like, oh, he can't come around us anymore. Like, my mother was like, yeah, no, that's not happening. Like, and she tried to basically blame me for the situation. Like, she was just like, she was going off on me. Like, oh, you didn't have to say anything. Oh, it was all fun and games. We were just joking around. Now we can't hang out with him no more. And he's all cute and everything else like that. And because I'm young, I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't feel right about it. So I told my mom, but I didn't know it was this big of a thing. But that's because I was young and stupid. Now that I'm looking at it, now that I'm older, I'm like, bro, if I felt uncomfortable about it, I was going to tell my mother regardless. Like, why are you blaming me when he is 13 years old, dry humping 8 or 9 year olds? And like, what the hell? Like, we had an argument over that. And it's like, girl, you're like, now that I think about it, it's like, girl, you're like 10, 11 years old. And you're like, oh, you liked that he was dry humping you? You was a little fast, little girl. Because that was like uncomfortable for me. Like, no. The next incident was basically, because we used to play football outside, right? And like, after that first incident, we became, you know, friends or whatever, and we were cool or whatever afterwards, because like, I apologized, which I didn't need to and I shouldn't have, but I did. So we were playing football outside or whatever, hanging out, like playing football on the concrete. Like, while we were playing football, we were really tackling each other on the concrete, like on the sidewalk and stuff like that. And she pushed him into a car that was parked on the sidewalk. So when she pushed him into the side of the car dented, basically. Like, that's how hard she pushed him into the car. And, you know, now it's a problem because it's not any of our parents' cars or anything like that. It's just a car that's there that's dented now. And we're sitting here, we're like, and we're all like, ooh. And we're all like 11, 12 years old at this point. And like, so we're a little bit older and we understand like that it's bad. Everyone starts to panic and everyone runs to their house. So she runs to her house. Me and my sisters and my cousins, we run to our house. And we had another 2 friends that lived next door to her that we were cool with. To be like 7 or 8 of us running around playing football together and stuff like that. So after everybody ran to their houses, mind you, right, keep in mind, remember I told you she's Hispanic. So what she did was, her mother did not speak English at all. And her father spoke like broken English. So what she did, right, when the guy came outside and he noticed that his car was dented, and the guy lived like 2 houses down from her. When he noticed that his car was dented, he automatically, of course, he assumed, because we were the only kids that were playing outside on the block, there was no other kids around there. So like he automatically assumed that it was one of us. So he goes to her house. Mind you, right, her mother doesn't speak English and her father was not home. And he starts talking about like the car and whatever like that. He's like, oh, my car is dented and somebody's gonna have to pay for that. You know, like he's going off or whatever. The best friend starts to explain the situation to her mother. But me and my cousins and my sister, we cannot speak, or the other two kids that live like next door to her that we were playing with, none of us can speak Spanish. So she starts going and telling her mother in Spanish about everything that's happening. That was one of the toxic things that she used to do. If it was an issue between me and her and she was explaining it to her mother, she would explain it in Spanish. And I could not speak Spanish. So when she explained it, she always made it seem like I was the bad guy because she knew I could not understand Spanish and that her mother couldn't understand English. So then what she would do is like she basically told the guy that, oh, it was all our fault. We live over there. It has nothing to do with us. And the mother started piggybacking off of it because the mother didn't know what happened. And the mother was going off of what her child told her because she knew she couldn't understand English. So then the guy comes across the street and he starts to talk to us about it. And we were like, she pushed him into the car. That already pissed me off because it was like, you tried to get my cousin in trouble for something that you did, and then you tried to cover it up by speaking in Spanish to your mother to try and explain it, and then you made it seem like it was all of our fault. So then I'm sitting here, I'm like, that is wrong. So like we start telling her, explaining what happened. My mom works for the NYPD, so then my mom starts to come into the situation, and my mom starts to explain what happened and stuff like that after we explained it. And then my mom starts to say, oh, well, she only speaks Spanish, the mother across the street. So it's all jumbled up and everything else like that. So they're lying, basically. So we go back and forth now, and now it's an argument between my parents and her parents and me and her, because they were basically trying to put the blame all on us about what happened. That was already another thing that was like, bro, no, you're mad toxic. But my young self, 12-year-old self, was just like, I don't have, much friends that live by me. It's not like I could go to anybody's house or anything like that. So be friends, be cool with her. So after that whole situation, we began to be friends again. We apologized or whatever. I don't even know how we apologized. I think it was the ice cream truck. We were both running to the ice cream truck and we saw each other. And like she came up to me and she apologized for what happened. And then I apologized. But she still thought that she was in the right. That she was basically just one of those sorries that was like, oh, I'm sorry that, I told the guy that you guys did it when we didn't do it. So then I'm finally getting to my final straw where I'm telling my mom about everything that's happening. And my mom is like, she's not the type of person you need to be having around you. Then she tells me that she's moving. So then she moved somewhere. I think she moved like further away, like a good 10-15 minutes away from here. Years and years later, literally just a month ago, not even like 3 weeks ago, literally, she texts me. She finds my social media and she finds my channel. Boo, if you're watching this, you know it's about you. But she texts me and she's like, oh, like, how you been? You remember all of this stuff? Trying to catch up with her or whatever. What's going through my mind is, this all happened 6-7 years ago. I'm not really, like, bugging out. We're both, like, 18 going on 19 now and stuff like that. I'm not really, with all of the whole drama or whatever. We're cool. We're more mature now and stuff like that. A lot has happened. I've become more confident. Society is accepting more darker skin tone people and stuff like that. So, I'm not really, like, bugging out or anything like that. And I know my worth now. She texts my cousin. The same cousin that she pushed into the car and it dented. The same older cousin. She texts him, right? And, like, she's talking to him about a situation or whatever, about the whole George Floyd situation. She's talking to him about that. While she's talking to him about that, he's basically telling her, like, oh, he's saying, like, we can't automatically assume that George Floyd didn't do anything. There's a reason why the cops approached him, even though he's like, oh, it's not right, the fact that the cops killed him, but there's a reason he approached him. That's all he said. If he feels that way, that's the way he feels. Like, you cannot degrade him for the way that he feels. So then matter of fact, I'm even skipping a part. One of the first things she texts him about, she's like, oh, so like, how is Soraya and how does she feel about me and stuff like that? Remember when we were younger and she used to be jealous of me because of my lighter skin and stuff like that? And he was like, oh, she wasn't jealous of you. It was just when she was younger, everyone thought that the lighter your skin was, the more you were beautiful. That was just how society was and stuff like that. That's what he told her. She was like, oh yeah, so basically she was jealous of me when we were younger. She gets mad because he calls her a female. He said a female. So she gets mad and she's like, oh, that's equivalent to the B word and stuff like that, which I'm not even going to get into. She goes and she takes it to social media. Oh, he did this, this, and this, and he's an idiot. She's cursing and everything else like that. And she's like, and I'm black and I'm proud. And it's black people like that that really irks me because Black Lives Matter and all this other stuff. So I'm like, whoa. Whoa. Black? She's black? Aren't you Hispanic? And don't get me wrong, there are black, Hispanics are black. But there are definitely white Hispanics as well. And my cousin shows me the story. So now I'm sitting here, I'm going off on her. I go and I text her because I'm like, girl, first of all, if you and my cousin are having a conversation and you disagree with something that he's saying, or you feel like he said something wrong, why not just have an adult conversation with him? Why did you bring it to social media and sit there and talk about it on social media and stuff like that? I don't get it. Like, what was the point? It wasn't social media's business. And why are you trying to embarrass him for the way that he feels? That don't make no sense. So then she goes off on me and she's like, oh, because he's trying to say I'm not black and he's trying to talk about the George Floyd thing and he's agreeing with the cops. And I'm like, he's not agreeing with the cops. He's looking at both sides. I was like, on top of the fact that his father is a cop. My mother works for the NYPD. People around us work for that, like, they work for the cops. Like, they are the cops, like, my family members. So it's like, you can't just expect us to just be like, yeah, F them. Like, I'm not saying, like I'm saying, he wasn't saying that it was okay for George Floyd to kill him. I mean, for George Floyd to get killed. It wasn't okay for that police officer to do what he did at all. But my thing is that you have to understand that we do have family that work for the police department. And, like, I get scared every single time my mother has to go to work and there's protests being held at her job and things being thrown at her and all this other stuff. And you should be happy about the fact that we have more black people on the force from my family and stuff like that, because that means that they will stand up for y'all and they will put all of the bad cops in their place. So that's basically what I'm telling her. And then I'm like, and then you go on to say that you're black. You're not black. You're Hispanic, boo. She's like, oh, because I have family, because my family is from Barbados. And she didn't, when I told her that when I was younger, she didn't even know what Barbados was. She didn't know where it was. She didn't know what it was, anything like that. When she heard the accents from my family, she was like, oh, the accents sound weird and stuff like that. So then now later on, fast forward to what we're talking about, she's like, oh, well, my mom has family that's from Barbados, so I have black in my blood. I was like, no. See, that's where you're uneducated. I told her, I was like, there's a difference between race and ethnicity. I said, you can have family that's from Barbados and they still be Hispanic. And they're still white Hispanics, because your family, your mother and your father is from Panama. They're literally and she literally said in the Instagram story, she literally said her mother and her father is from Panama, where Spaniards were. I'm like, yeah, Spaniards, Spanish, white. Your mother and your father are white. You are not black. You are Hispanic. They are Hispanic. You are Hispanic, but you are the white Hispanic. You are not the black Hispanic. You're not Afro-Latina. You're not anything like, I was sitting here like, bro, no. And I was like, on top of the fact that just because your family is from Barbados does not make you black. There are white people that are born in Barbados. There are black people that are born in Barbados. There are Asians that are born in Barbados. And there are Hispanics that are born in Barbados. So I'm sitting here, I'm like, just because you're born in Barbados, a white person can't have a baby in Barbados and then automatically just, yeah, the baby is not black. No, at the end of the day, the baby is still white. Race and ethnicity is two different things. Schooling her, educating her. I start educating her, and now she resorts to degrading me. She's like, oh, I knew you didn't even like where you were from because you were jealous of me when we were younger. You were jealous of my light skin, my gorgeous curly hair, and all this other stuff. Mind you, right, this girl now, when I see her, she cut her hair because she played herself trying to dye her hair looking like Little Uzi. Played herself bleaching her hair. Her hair was looking crazy, so she cut it. Then on top of that, this girl used to be nice, a little slim girl. Now, I'm not fat shaming anyone. Love your bodies. But she got no space to talk. Insecure one, boo, you have to bring up the fact that that you used to make me feel some type of way when I was younger because I was dark skinned, and dark skin automatically made you seem ugly, and I didn't have long hair like yours. You tried to make it seem like I was the bad guy when we were younger, when you used to put those thoughts into my head. And I was like, and if anything, you're the insecure one, because you have to bring that up to try and prove a point. Like, you had to bring up the fact that I was jealous of you when we were like 9. Boo, we were 9 years old. Like, and I didn't know anything about, I wasn't more educated about my skin color and everything else like that. And that's what I was hearing from society, and I was hearing from my best friend. So obviously I was going to believe it. The fact that you had to bring that up to make yourself feel good shows how insecure you are. I was like, boo, what are you talking about? This whole thing only started because you didn't need to put anything on social media. It was never nothing to try and embarrass my cousin for his beliefs or whatever he thinks. At the end of the day, I love my body now. I said I love my beautiful brown dark skin. I love my hair. Y'all seen my natural hair and everything else like that. I love everything about myself. Now you cannot tell me nothing about me or anything about anything that's on me, boo. Not anything. So she's sitting there, she's like, oh, and you're trying to have this kind of confidence now that we all both know is a lie. Your cousin already told me. I said, my cousin showed me what he said to you. And he told you when I was younger, I thought the lighter your skin complexion was, the cuter you were. He didn't say nothing about me being jealous of you now. So basically that happened. And now we just don't talk anymore, like at all, like period. And she doesn't talk to my cousin, anything else like that. But yeah, learn from me, y'all. If y'all have a best friend like this in your life, if y'all have anybody like this in your life, please, 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 do not let them manipulate you like how she did with me. Please know your worth. Know that everybody is beautiful in every single way that they are, inside and out. Don't let anybody try and tear you down, because that was just so toxic. Not it. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment any other videos you guys would like for me down below. I think I might also do the story time of my worst ex, because why not? A lot of people voted for that one too. It's just this one won first, so I might do that one too. But yeah, that's it. Bye, lovelies.